History is full of turning points, battles that determine the rise and fall of civilizations. But what if a force beyond the laws of the past intruded into its well-ordered mechanism? A force from the future. This is not a story of conquest. This is a story of survival, when 2,200 soldiers of the 21st century found themselves trapped in a world ruled by the greatest empire of antiquity. This is the scenario of a battle that never happened, one U.S. Marine expeditionary unit against the full might of the Roman Empire at the height of its glory. 117 year of our era. The province of Gaul. A damp, dense forest smelling of decaying leaves and wet earth. Here, in a valley surrounded by ancient oaks, 2,200 U.S. Marines have just materialized. A moment ago, they were on a training range in California. Now, primordial silence and air too clean for their lungs. They are a self-sufficient combat unit, an infantry battalion reinforced with artillery, light armored vehicles, engineering detachments and, most importantly, an aviation wing. For M1A1 Abrams tanks, a dozen LAV-25 light armored vehicles, AAV-7 assault amphibious vehicles, helicopters, attack Cobras, multipurpose Hueys, and heavy transport Sea Stallions. In their hands, M4 rifles, machine guns, and Javelin anti-tank systems. They are the spearhead of the most lethal military machine in human history. But here, in the past, they are ghosts. Their supply lines stretch not for kilometers, but for 2 millennia. Every round of ammunition, every drop of fuel, every medical pack is worth its weight in gold. They have no reinforcements. They have no way home. Colonel Evans, the commander of the unit, understands this before anyone else. His order, delivered over secure communications, is simple and terrifying: all units, conserve ammunition, establish a defensive perimeter. We are alone here. The Empire does not notice the anomaly. Not yet. Emperor Trajan, one of Rome's greatest commanders, stands at the height of his power. From Britain to Mesopotamia, his authority stretches, upheld by 40 legions, nearly 500,000 professional soldiers hardened in countless wars. Legionaries are not merely soldiers. They are engineers, builders, symbols of order and discipline. Their logistics are a marvel of their time. Their fighting spirit is unbreakable. When rumors reach the local legate about strange people in painted clothing, who appeared out of nowhere, he reacts as he always has. He dispatches a single cohort to subdue the barbarians. 600 men. Day 1. Shock. The Romans march into battle as they have for centuries. Tight formation, armor gleaming in the sun, crimson scutum shields overlapping to protect one another. They spot a marine outpost, a few soldiers in camouflage behind sandbags. For the centurion, it is an easy task. He gives the order to attack. With a roar, the legionaries surge forward, confident that in a moment their gladii will taste enemy flesh. The first ranks of legionaries do not fall. They are torn apart. A leaden storm, racing at a rate of 800 rounds per minute, turns legendary Roman discipline into a bloody slaughter. Shields, armor, human flesh, 7.62 caliber bullets make no distinction. The Romans have never faced anything like this. Their swords are made for close combat, their bows for shooting at 200 meters. They cannot even understand where death is coming from. Panic, a primal terror, seizes those still on their feet. They drop their shields and swords and run. The legendary, undefeated legionaries run like frightened children. For the Marines, this is not a victory. It is an execution. Over the radio, shock. Young voices that were joking an hour ago now tremble. My God, they were just walking toward us. Colonel Evans watches through binoculars at the field strewn with bodies in Roman armor, and a chill runs down his spine. He has not won a battle, he has just declared war on the entire world. Phase 2. Adaptation. News of the rout reaches Trajan. He does not believe it. But the survivors, pale and wide-eyed with madness, tell the same story, of thunder that kills, of invisible arrows, of demons in strange clothing. Trajan is a pragmatist and a brilliant tactician. He understands, these are not barbarians. This is something else. He gives an order that confuses his generals: encircle them. Do not attack. Observe. 3 legions, nearly 18,000 men, converge on the valley. They do not launch an attack. Instead, they begin to do what they do best, work. Tens of thousands of hands dig into the earth, fell trees. Around the Marines' position, at a safe distance, a vast system of Roman fortifications rises, ditches, ramparts, watchtowers. The Romans cut the Meu off from the world. They do not know what the enemy needs, but they will deny him everything: food, water, and the ability to move. Meanwhile, Colonel Evans transforms his camp into a fortress of the 21st century. Engineers erect fortifications the world has never seen. Barbed wire, minefields, motion sensors. Abrams tanks are dug into the ground and turned into immobile firing positions capable of destroying any siege engine with a single shot. The artillery has ranged in every square meter around them. Evans knows that his greatest enemy is time. He imposes the strictest fire discipline. Every shot must be justified. Phase 3. Siege and psychological warfare. A prolonged siege begins. The Romans attempt to probe the defenses. At night, groups of legionaries try to approach the perimeter, but thermal imagers detect them from a kilometer away. Silent sniper shots take life after life. Roman catapults and ballistae are destroyed by precise strikes from 120mm mortars almost as soon as they are assembled. Each day for the Romans becomes a succession of inexplicable and terrifying deaths. At night, hell begins. Colonel Evans decides to break the enemy's spirit. AH-1 Cobra helicopters rise into the sky. To the legionaries, they are unseen monsters, chattering dragons breathing fire. Roaring over the Roman camp, the Cobras turn tents and fortifications into blazing ruins. But the main weapon is not rockets. It is sound. Through powerful loudspeakers mounted on the Hueys, the Marines broadcast simple and terrifying messages in Latin, thanks to a staff officer fascinated with antiquity.
We are the wrath of the gods. Leave. Your iron will not save you.
Discipline, the backbone of the Roman army, begins to crack. Soldiers refuse to leave their tents. They see ill omens in everything. Legends of invincible gods descending from the heavens spread like wildfire. Trajan is forced to execute every 10th man in one of the mutinous units to restore order, but he understands that fear is stronger than his authority. Phase 4. Exhaustion. Months pass. The Marines begin to run out of fuel. Helicopters are grounded. The tanks fall silent. Ammunition supplies for the machine guns are critically low. Medical supplies are nearly exhausted. A simple scratch, infected by bacteria of the 2nd century, becomes a death sentence. The logistics battalion performs miracles, reforging steel and creating improvised explosive devices, but they cannot create gunpowder from mud. The Marines' morale remains high, yet their bodies begin to fail. They are an island of the 21st century, slowly sinking into the ocean of the past. Trajan, seeing that his army is on the brink of mutiny while the enemy has weakened, decides on a desperate, almost insane move. He is an engineer no less than a commander. He orders his legions to begin the most grandiose construction project in the history of warfare. He will not storm the fortress. He will bury it. Tens of thousands of soldiers, shielding themselves with their scuta, begin hauling earth, stones, and timber. They construct a massive ramp that slowly, meter by meter, creeps toward the Marines' base. Snipers and mortars claim hundreds of lives each day, but Trajan commands millions of people. To him, these are acceptable losses. He is building a new mountain from which he will unleash the full might of Rome upon the enemy. Final, the desperate breakthrough. Colonel Evans watches the growing earthen mound and understands, this is the end. In a week or two, the Romans will reach their level, and then they will simply be crushed by sheer numbers. He has one final card left to play. One last full fuel load for 2 heavy transport Sea Stallion helicopters. The plan is audacious to the point of suicide. Decapitation. At night, as the Romans continue their titanic construction, the Marine's fortress suddenly comes alive. The last tank shells, the final mortar rounds, the last bursts from machine guns rain down on the ramp builders, creating chaos and drawing attention. At the same time, two sea stallions lift into the air without lights and, flying at extremely low altitude, slip around into the deep rear of the Roman army. Their target: the personal headquarters of Emperor Trajan. 50 Marine Special Operations troops descend on ropes into the heart of the enemy command. This is not a battle, it is a surgical operation. Within minutes, using suppressed weapons, they neutralize the Praetorian Guard. They storm into the emperor's tent. Trajan, gray-haired yet still formidable, meets them with a sword in his hand. He is not afraid. He looks at them with fierce curiosity. With the capture of the emperor, the war was over. The Roman army, deprived of its mind and will, stood still. Colonel Evans did not kill Trajan. He began negotiations. He could not conquer Rome. He could not return home. But he could ensure the survival of his people. The outcome was an unthinkable agreement. The Marine Expeditionary Unit became an autonomous, divine legion, in the service of Rome. An enclave of the 21st century frozen in time. They brought their knowledge into the ancient world, but their technology was doomed to fade. They could repair a rifle, but they could not build a factory to produce ammunition. They could treat wounds, but they could not synthesize antibiotics. They survived. But they lost. Time, the most relentless enemy, was on the empire's side. Their knowledge would dissolve, their equipment would turn to rust, and their descendants would become part of the world they never managed to conquer. Their victory became their prison. History would have remembered them as a myth. As a legend of gods descending from the heavens to test the greatest of empires. But for 2,200 souls lost in time, it was simply a story of a long, desperate road home that never came to an end.